majority of these immigrant states, which U.S. is one of the father laws of immigrant states, no one will deporting a refugee while accepting asylum status. Why accepting an asylum application? No, the neighbor as a third world or second country. Now, Gina, when Timmy is any panel and country and say, when one swagino. Watching with Nigeria, Nigerian, and Tinuano, Bioneko, Uncle Dahi, Uncle Jani, Uncle Didi. So when this time, man, you might as well not have received, accepted them, give them back to the person or the country that brought them. And something that issue in war. But the artist when the 40 this is over. Ghana must be very careful.
I was high on Ghana TV. Now, Ebetoja say US deportees sue Ghana over illegal detention. West African deported by US to Ghana sue over detention. Not just a nipebia, a deportee or more Donald Trump, a deportee or more a free US, United States of America. Na say or more enko mukrum. The Oma bah ape baby akra or more said the beya umbetimi akko mukrum be a Nigeria for, be a Gambia for, any other citizens of Yenya West Africa. Yea, na omoba be tremwakwa, almost Uganda, just almost say, acquire Ghana, edu omo fasono, and pay you cry, and pokrano, a beach omo anhye se chinchina Ghana for any omo. It started when President John Dramani Mahama Asia Media on 10th September na omo ebusa nsema one journalist of Free Radio France International ebusa say Ghana ne US nkuta hudie ti sen ye relationship mu ti sen. I don't know president respond here wo chire wuma ehu say Donald Trump ne na ban deport West African citizens bia America for pe baby e de omo be fa na omo atimi akọ omo krom na Ghana aji omo se ombeboa ama omo atimi abefa Ghana akọ omo krom. The president chere say oh ye ni problem kra na no na amanfo raise concern about previous event atwa mu gitmo 2 ehun asem esi ebaye na West African deportees idie honorable Okudzeto ablakwa abechirem honorable Felix Ofosuku achiremu na Farouk Wahab chere say lawsuit deportees bi di ahwe Ghana so yi na tese no ma bi entwa yi na also actually need the Dominican journalist in some Obusa president. I'm responding.
My name is Victor Cariou. I'm the Ghana correspondent for Radio France International, TV5, and Le Monde Afrique. These questions concern the diplomatic relationship between the United States of America and Ghana and Africa, and the deportation of migrants from the US to third countries in Africa. Your Excellency, with regard to this matter, how do you perceive the recent deal between the US and Rwanda, Eswatini or South Sudan? And also, has Ghana already received migrants from a third country deported from the US? Or if not, is Ghana considering doing so in the near future? Thank you.
Ghana-US relations. First, we were slapped with 10% tariff that was increased to 15%. And then we're included in 36 countries that were going to be placed on a visa ban, but in the meantime, all 5-year visas were cancelled, and we were restricted to single entry 3 months. It shows the tightening situation in our foreign relations, but I do think that we still enjoy good relations with the United States of America. We were approached by the US to accept third-party nationals who were being removed from the US. And we agreed with them that West African nationals, were acceptable because all our fellow West Africans don't need a visa to come to our country. So if they decided to travel from US to Accra, they don't need a visa anyway. So if you're bringing our colleague West Africans back, that's okay. And so I think that agreement has been activated, and a first batch of 14 nationals came. Several of them were our Nigerian brothers. They opted to go back home, and so we put them on buses, to be able to go back home. One of them was a Gambian who it's not as easy. You have to get him an air ticket to be able to facilitate his travel. So what we've done is contacted their embassy to let them know of his presence so that they can facilitate his return to Gambia. And so that's the issue with regards to deportations and arrivals. West Africa has the protocol of free movement, and so any West African is free to come to Ghana and be able to stay for 90 days. And so if they decide to bring them, I mean, we don't have a problem accepting them.
So when some Ghanaians raised issues about these deportees, Ghana, abesne twemako omukromu ya, ebiye Nigerians ni other West African countries yebia chese yebo Nigeria fo ya Ghana fo bu ofu se adentina ya deporte Nigeria ni na oba abefa Ghana akọ na chese president akọji sika puduo eno no na ona bu Okudzeto ablakọ chese nya no kre da nya no kre.
It is important to stress and to state unequivocally that Ghana has not received and does not seek any financial compensation or material benefit in relation to this understanding. Our decision is grounded purely on humanitarian principle and Pan-African solidarity, to offer temporary refuge where needed, to prevent further human suffering, and to maintain our credibility as a responsible regional actor. Ghana's decision must be understood as an act of Pan-African empathy. It is not transactional. Like Rwanda, Eswatini, Uganda, South Sudan, who are welcoming fellow Africans, we are standing up for our brothers and sisters in distress. And this should not be misconstrued as an endorsement of the immigration policies of the Trump administration.
Now, in reference to Gitmo 2, January 2016, 2 Yemen ex-detained from U.S. military prison in Guantanamo Bay. Yeji omo deja neno ena onabo Okudzeto ablakwa epi e channel 1 TV so eni ebusa ne se na West African deportees ye di omo bay eko parliament ama yeji tumu o kire se 40 kura na mkwa so a omo eba 40 ba beka 14 yi ho a 14 omo hwe se omo nyina be ko omo country si na se parliament gitum ana omo anja antum.
We thought that, look, West Africans already under the ECOWAS protocol can visit any country visa-free, stay for 90 days. So on principle, on humanitarian grounds, Pan-African solidarity, let us accept our fellow West Africans. And let's make the point that Ghana is your home. We are not going to allow you to
accept them
distressed.
to keep them here or accept them to send them back to their countries.
So the choice is theirs, really. For 90 days, if they want to stay here, they can stay. But so far, all of them have indicated that they want to go back after some time, and we've been facilitating that. I can reveal to you that we are expecting another 40.
Another 40?
Another 40 in the next few days.
Of which nationalities?
West Africans. The understanding we have is that it will be West Africans. And don't forget that...
Do you vet them before they come?
Yes, we vet them.
What caveats do you give the Americans?
So we have said that...
Who is not acceptable?
Hardened criminals, convicted criminals. When the background check reveals that you've associated with terrorism, with violent extremism, you are a very violent person. You are on a certain Interpol wanted list for violent crimes, because we have the data. You will not be allowed in our country. So it's really people who probably
why didn't you ratify the MOU with Parliament?
Yes, so it's an MOU at this stage, just an understanding, and MOUs are not ratified. But
really?
as the discussions continue,
yeah,
if it is elevated to an agreement,
the Guantanamo 3, some people took the matter to court, and I think the Supreme Court held that whatever name you give it, when two countries come up with an arrangement, that places obligations on both of them. Whether you call it a treaty, a contract, it requires ratification. It was a majority decision. Only one person dissented. So I'm a bit surprised you're saying because it's an MOU, it means that it oughtn't have gone to Parliament. The judgment was very clear on the Guantanamo 3, that Article 75 was violated, which says international agreements must go through Parliament. And you are a 4th MP, so at least you could have gone to Parliament. And you have a massive majority. So what's the problem?
No, I agree with you. And that is why I said at the press conference I held a couple of days ago that when this is elevated beyond an MOU and it's a full agreement, we will go to Parliament under Article 75 and have it ratified. At this point, it is just a loose understanding.
The agreement is enforced. But how can you enforce? How can you enforce something called a loose? The thing is already enforced. You've brought 14. You're bringing 40.
Look, I've inherited so many MOUs that didn't go to Parliament for ratification, and it's.
But because of the precedent of the Gitmo 3, I felt like this was, and I think you know this. So is it an oversight? Are you going to apologize for it, or you don't think you made a mistake?
No, it's not an oversight because we sought the Attorney General's advice. It was discussed in cabinet, and the Attorney General's advice and his counterpart, the Attorney General on the U.S. side, also said that look, this is an MOU. And MOUs do not require ratification. That is why
the Attorney General is wrong because the judgment is clear. I can read it.
Oh, you know better law than the Attorney General?
At least the law is there for all of us to read. Unless the English reading of what the Supreme Court said is different.
Now, Honorable Felix Ofosu-Kwakye echere nkitahudi a ewo America ne Ghana ntema sika bi etimi bakra ache se eye free money a echere se America for ebise bibi na ombetimi Ghana betimi aya eno ka ho ena ma Ghana timi gi West African deportees ye eboa amoma koduru omukrom.
US deportees amanfo bisa ebise nanu bi National Organizer my MPP Nana B Gitmo 2 dey or the court adentina we so mampenia fanko parliament de bia na o ya de be ha
MPP for propaganda and tasum no bi no ntina me chese mo nsento for mesrem asemo ba munya abote na mo hwehwe mo enye se Nana B ni MPP mo te da se Abraham ma okra so propaganda and tasum omo ye dede fa Gitmo 2 on ba ngo from yomoden ya efisa Abraham ko fomi no baga na wate empufuye bi wo mo sha won ti boni bia na so Abraham ba no na etutwafo omo ha etutwafo omo bekunye yi o akeda fo ba se bi omo ba ye no eye entati akra ne ho aka wo nti asemo ba mo nya abotre ne nka ne tie ne se Ghana ye ne America wo nkita hodie empem bebre na America fo atebri sika de Abraham se ye nye emfa ma ye ho bra N1 ne da he se say Millennium Challenge account.
Okay.
Sika $500 million on the enu bi na de ye. Ye nam so da ye koba aboa o man mpuntu. Nti eto da omo ye yadoye. Mpenifo so ensakọ na ensa ye den aba. Nti ye so ebredu na omo so mu hia ye moa. Na se ye hwe na enfo ohaw bia amre o man na. Boni bi enu so ye beboa wo mo. Ni akoba ne se omo se nipa bi etu kwan akọ omo man mu. Ghana fo ka ho. Omo atena ho amana buru ebra ye de ma wo ana so mpo no mo ko no amfa nkrata papa bi anko nti omo bo masan Ghana ye bo nipa san da ye bo nipa san China for ye bo mo san da
sa
ye ne da
de adwen so omo de omo ye ya na omo ba ye krum
ye ko omo Ghana wo ba ha Ghana wo ba ha na se wan fa kwan pa so amba ye bebo asan in fact the most famous of them your friend Shaw Cross no ye lawyer ni bia ofi English abochimem we ye ko producer apenso
okay nkroma type
obedu Ghana na ye san bo ne san ono kwa no ofi English abochimem nti friend Shaw Cross in Shaw Cross out so what that asichere no nti say ye bo obi efi oman bi makọ ne krom de ade ewo wiase afa na enye bibi sonko enye bibi bo ne bia ne tie ne sa America fo mabo Ghana fo bi asan ya so de si e beje san nkofo no
Ghana fo na bibi
me so ma me manusi abetima
o na me ma wa kire
o mabo Ghana fo be ye 100 and something aba deda
okay
eye lawful eye family kwa enye bibi o munye bo ne bi enti ayen nti enum na mo kire so o mo san so wo eye nipa bi efi ebibre matoye ha ye fe no West Africa
okay
on pese omode omo fa Ghana ha ekom kurum na ya ne etie ne se Ghana no esanse ye ka ECOWAS nti obi a oye ECOWAS nin a ofi West Africa Ghana ka ho otumi fi ewiase afa nan be bia eba Ghana onkita visa
okay
de onya na o passport e kire se wo ye a citizen of an ECOWAS country ya ubetumi fi America akọ Nigeria wo hia passport obi an sign ade se bia wa ye boni bi nti omo se on pese sa nipa no omo efa ha ekom kurum Ghana ye wasudie as part of the ECOWAS arrangement say ECOWAS citizen bia pese oba Ghana na se de ne ba ha ye beje no
okay
oba otumi tina ha 90 days na wasa owie 90 days na so cross border obet bia sa aba another 90 days sa be pe ne yeso betumi akotogo ekodi 90 days ni aba ebetumi akọ Nigeria 90 days Benin 90 days Cote d'Ivoire 90 days Senegal 90 days ni asi okay first of all omo ye West Africa for there yaso die se ebeje West Africa for because ye de ensa kwoshen krata ase and ECOWAS ye beye.
Okay.
Number 2, so West Africa ni kura ye behwe se onye boni bia bonesi only criminal record. So onkodi boni bi nti na ya bona san na emuma ye nkrata asem na anko yie ana wakot na wo abro bread man no so. Na paase we kodi boni bi pa ye na koto efi ase de anya de ebeje no. So West Africa ni kura ye nyi no. Pase boni ni nkekawa bi ani ne ho efi bi ani ne ho de a ye beje no. Nti omo ba na ya ye nhese ni aboa am ye de omo akomu krum. Nti omo fa ha akomu krum. Nti anya bibi so. Number 2, Parliament sama wo kan Article 75 eye specific. I said ye fe bi treaty. Say we are say amansa nyina ana ye ne oman bi akonsihye mu akọben krom wo bibi won say ye adwen wo bibi won ti ye de ensa ahase ye beboa mma ye no. Eno na say de Parliament. Conventions say bibi a eye ade a amansan age atum a yeso age atum bi na ye de ensa ahase na say Parliament. Ene ye wo agreement a eno no me no mienu wo ya America me Ghana ana yakọben krom say ye bedi nkita ho bi e bi esikasem nkita ho ana say asrafo nkita hodie ana bibia ye betumi aye e wa amamienu ne ntem na agreement mu de boni fe no obligations say we ni so ansonso wo ho eno wo de kwa Parliament under Article 75.
Okay.
Ene wo bibia fe no MOU, Memorandum of Understanding eno me ne wa kontiase say ye be bibi na emom no say wa anye me ma anye ana say be na me se me nya bioma ansonso bia ma undumi fa me court undumi nya me bibia we no a memorandum of understanding and before happen so there are thousands
nti no ehia se be
ko Parliament and nti na anko that's all
sisi ani padodo say na deportees
nipa mako do 9 and
on maba saying dodo ani ye gi o maka
say ye una to say a memorandum a loose agreement memorandum of understanding no say abrebia omoka so mo de bebre ya ye won kwan se beka se ebeje ana aye ni nti there is no number
ti asem hwen no
nti say oh ye wo miensa bi o meje ye se da bi o ye beje
yetimi cross check o mo
of course
emiti so bi say what Ghana wo say wo be cross check o bi o ti America how will you do that you cross check o mo say o mo you okay my in society
omo ba ye de omo krata se nyina abedan under the memorandum of understanding America for asudi say omo de ehon krata se nyina abedan because they go through a certain process say the America nye o man ketwa Ghana akra obi o Ghana ha oba ha bia ye won ho hyehyɛ ne say wo the passport ekugina kutoka na ye the passport ni shefidie mu a all the airports in the world ehu say wo tu kwan wodi ba manifest so a obi a wo wiase bia e pa obenya nti anya su masem nti America for no mo de ho nsem ba na ya hwɛ say nipa no America abakosem no waye bibi da bakode fiase da no waye boni bi da aposifo akyene da apart from say bia enkatasem nti ne ya kyene no waye boni bi etia o manem rada nti ye sa de ni nyina ansana yaji atum ya sanso wa na musifo wa America a omobu edi sa adwuma no ansa nipa no kra for plane abaha nti obi ka kire o se yentumi nya nhwemu anya no kra o se nipa no nti ase nti na wo kan temesere enye bone so
na obi ayeye omo papa yi e na omo nso akosiu ye
se na omo ho kwan
se omo anka se aha na omo ba
ya se bi asa se wo America ne do ba Ghana se nso ne ewu nti anya de ya enya wode enya wode nti eye normal se di pan o asem bi eni ho omo se omo wo Ghana ha na omo mpe eno se omo ko mukrum se court ni bua se omo ko mukrum omo ko there's no issue but se omo bonyo se de omo ba Ghana de is normal
na omo betena ha ana omo ba ko
omo be ko nti se
ye de nti na eni omo ko su ye si ye de omo ana ba na ye de omo ba ha
obi betumi akokọ se atade ye hye me nya ne fe eno nti se wo nyina so atema se amafo kokot da
I see
amafo kokot da
America
minimo bia wakokọ tekosu ono angasa no so wo su no ho obi ekokọ so okusu Jesus Christ but ento aso mu
what kind of the John say no kro be kwa Easter on ti ase mi eni oni mi ti ase
enti say wo kokọ to nche say enti na mo ma ya ka say udi kan kokọ ta woni bi enti the fact say wo kokọ to no enchire hwe so wo ka say wo Ghana ban no atete wo wafo amra kwan so wetietia afa ahodi so a court ne behwe say e no kra na say no kra obetwe Ghana ban so enya no kra ga say asem no
benefit ben e wo mu ma
na mche say ya ese ambidi ka say ensa kọ na ensa ba ye ntumi ntina wi ase nka say ye de bia ye anyi bibi
okay
ya woni mpefe say America aban efi ye na na penso o ma boa ye kwan hodo so bebre
okay
in fact enya na nsenya anka afi bi o mo bre about $150 million say financial HIV any apomodin se share ho Millennium Challenge Compact mienu ne de ensa akọ hase
okay
o mo bre about 530 million eni bi ne de N1
okay
last one e buy na MPP for share bone ne dream course ewo PDS in sense munti na omo san eju musika nti omo no ye adoye da nti enna no mo se o yan mu omo sa kwan so no nyini se ekoji bibi ansa ndan
but this specific
we no sikasem we bi eni
in the phobia or security mu I can say emakwa they give you something
ya omo de omo bre 150 million me de HIV nya de ade no say ebakwa billion challenge compact de na ye omo de mai say bakwa
okay
and for me be cry if no agwa buy
but we MOU so no kun say no
we be na just
nkrofo ya e bia yensu we ni e bia mama na yensu
we bi eni wosa enye say enye de bia na abeji bibia so why papa so adma enye say eti ase say ye no omo ye adoye se ne yen yetumi ko sere so omo meboa ye ombeboa ye no so omo so omu nya ye mu akaka na ye boa ense ehwe enkanka wa abra emfa insunsun so boni bia amre se bi alatafo dumien sabaha na Gambia ni ba ko ka ho na omonye bonenti America mra apart from say nkata se manko yi na yabo masan a menyi ni se e de ohaw ebre Ghana fo so mo ba no mo ye bone a
14 na aba no dumi ensan ya alatafo
omo ya alatafo na ba ko ye
Gambia ni I see alatafo nso I say ya no mo hu kakra o ti na bi anko
ya mesre ya fe bibi xenophobia
okay
se bi undumi nka se osi mesi esan so yetuntum ti oyi nipa bone
okay
me se bi alatafo bibiri wo ho mo ye nipa papa
okay
se ba ko mienu bi di bone wa na nkyere Ghana for so ye bone na say ya say emrantie bi a omkodi dream wo ka ho say ya be che omko
okay
omo ye fence romantic scams say Ghana for ka ho na say ye mefa emrantie be ye na bi nko America so omkodi bone America nti ye nka se bi omo ye Ghana for nti no ye mfa mfore Ghana for e wa America nyina nti nyini say bi sanko
na ye
nti ye ka se alatafo hu a na ya nka ne ye it is not fair.
Alright.
Ghana for so ye bone Ghana for ewudifo wo meboa Ghana for ye wo armed robbers wo meboa
okay
ye wo rapists wo meboa but Ghana for ye nipa bone for Ghana for ye nipa bone for
Ghana for na be George
nti mesre sa aka tamo ya na
Farouk Wahab or globally certified and experienced diplomatic and investment consultant or chere say deportees yi bi siwa o mu siw Ghana no na chese bibi etechima na no ma bi wo hono ma se Ghana ede tutu yie enye saa na akoye se ye fododo
be na wotwe ye de akogui na soafo a wo hwam no ne nsem so press conference or the two dwase o Ghana krado ye aginipa dunan ye US for a deport won na kapre ba tokuro demwo Ghana ya anyibi emfaso bia ya nkase ye de ketu akwaje kese bia na wotwe awie ye enya ne ntie so ebia ba bedu afekura de ne e ba ne se 14 ni nyina medu ya sa de bi kwo man mu ama o malo ye sekura esensi wi aka ho fa ne enti a ye sa de bi akwo nsem na ye bebre se ba ne se o man bi ti se US se ni pay menye won monsan monko mo man mu anasa ye de mo ko man bi mu a so man bi beji woni a dia so no wogina ka se ye de ye beji sa nkrofo e yopani
na minche na minche chifo in fact enya Ghana for na press conference ni nya kwanti bi enya journalist call on isn't she say mo call for ni bi sabi o mo musta questions na was from buta but yes you better say drink a craft said what for me and you say America sabi yani wo mu no or the country Ukraine flag yes you cried here onchimi en show say upu le jinkophobia komo deportees omugu ye deportation center nti monjuom na enwansa monjuom enwan bibia nka ho I don't believe that it is like that but abambia wa ekwan of also cover the story and I say on person information bi oha or the beba and he say a day notice and Ghana enter into agreement with the United States of America so bakaya and check 2 months in an American government say countries are mobile and Ghana come. You know more visa 5 years visa crown or much or the started Ghana 2 months ago and honorable Okudzeto Ablakwa or name the committee chairman on foreign affairs and as State Department or America in a brush diplomatic brush our car say Ghana on port no country Ghana government say American for companies Wahab and a car ye di companies in Chumka. Now we jai say all by America ababeris abekeka sabi ebia visa sem or one no and the 2 weeks and America for a started say Ubi I am 5 years visa be a come be a free neko or the country do count. The reasons that America for the count part of the reasons was said or the deportees at the back. Now or be severe or no visa relations or visa restrictions or better visa or demands or things so no number of years of visa or demand or better so for 25 years ago and American president then I think Bush about 2 MIS 5 years visa but and say be and me say we Okudzeto in America in some discussions and did not make sure me say one of the discussions on the table na say G woman maybe better relations and once with regards to the visa troubles because affecting senior officials of government will be because you be free and now if you say no just try to get ya di nipa 14 bremo ya di mu go afie mu do ma ba monji wom na ya say ya mai bibia okay skata mu tonchen what next wo kwaji wom ba ye e dem mra na da ya yet me take ni bi Ghana up to today of course and to 2015 or there about you know His Excellency President Mahama regime at that time and Roger Gitmo 2
no 2016
there about
2016
and Gitmo 2 me no ka say Gitmo 2 no obi anfa na ni ehu sankofo ni and obi ato anche ba bia omoda and obi anche ba bia omoda and a prison bia no ha do mo to ye enti ye dom ko hin so odo ba Gitmo 2 for instance odom ba stateless the Congo pon ba ku ye Yemenis ba ku ye Saudi Arabian ye don kom so min free ho and the government of that country says who free ho so what dimenjo and the Ghana didn't buy no you can't render anybody a wajin whole country stateless no and even with the Gitmo some of us raise the issue say the only way Ghana to me you must have either honorary citizenship on the person are given to the person accepted and I say woman nationality upon arrival and yet immigration records on what the blank sheet and the paper tasso any the country nationality unidentified and our anything government and then the opposition of the day at the time parliamentarians at the time obian to me besides say okay I do humanitarian reasons nationality status ban on the as we speak I presume so me a Ghana for in the same way Yenya Timakasi be a Liberia for be a Nigeria for be a Togo for near that. That's okay. You're an ECOWAS bloc member, founding member of ECOWAS, and a Ghana to your pro-independence, freedom and justice. It is said, say, or what the other African countries, what sub-region now. I'm looking at two things. One, United States of America. So on Gobi Kulituma, they don't do transiting. They don't transit passengers. Let us listeners, anyone can say, America won't transit in deportee because for fear of whatever could happen through the transit center. And he said, the ordinary American or the neighbor. So the New York deportation center, we don't know if we be a feel like they are not New Jersey. And now what about the mobile? That is how it is. Ordinary for flight, on funding for Germany. Or let transit to Europe, and you can see obesity political asylum. What do you mean for them? Or didn't you see Holland, Amsterdam airport, then you find Pajan in such a own car, American Timmy deportation. No about the burden of Holland government. Flight in didn't buy Holland government better charging about 5,000 euros. And Sana, Nipan with the asylum, like I say, a tricky problem. Or then if Belgium are the same thing. The America for now suspect is only there. The Nipan 14 to me from private jetting. The Nipan 14 or do move bar, or to move from play back commercial jets and from Mukwamra direct to Accra. And one to me or the top our West African airport, 86 citizens in Ina. And maybe another dream minimum said 1. Our non-stop flight from New York to Accra Delta. 1, 2. Or non-stop flight from Washington to Accra. And also or non-stop. And you don't buy any say. Or Ghana be a can what them say. Okay, your flight to Madarich. Omi ECOWAS citizen. Me di momo brew. Na omu ba transfer them. In this case, is a deportation in transit, which is accepted and done by every country. Deportation in transit, home ticket, home the American government now take it. And they on one American plane and what they back. And you know no one for Nipa 14. They will sit at the last end of the flight. And on Dometina. American agents are doing mobile, either FBI or Secret Services or American National Guard for the Gomba. Omoda bet only other passengers, no mama 1 line or 2 lines, or matter pretty, or be anti-sitting so that they keep them at bay at the back of the aircraft. Now flight in here, not Ghana authorities, immigration, police, any other national security for. Oma kwa kushia flight, And the airline said, open passengers now aircraft now will be able to. Now Babeka 14 now going no actually. Non-national authorities akushia. Now maybe say at the time national authorities, akushia American authorities now agents. One, the first thing they exchange, so no more passports. The passports are given to the pilot. Passports are given to the pilot. Now US agent no for flighting. Akwa the pilot one waje passports no. Ojivia the first Ghana migration officer. When the crap passport the first Ghana migration officer for certification. Certification need to count the number of people, any documents of the man. Paper 1, paper 2, paper 3, 40 immigration for the magic in you. Now but some of them they do not their handcuffs. And that is where the catch. See the problem is here. America for the truth will be handcuffs now. Some of them will couple with them, some of them will decide to own free flight and so. Until they handcuff them and give them to Ghana. Not Ghana so room. Until me besides the Kotoka International Airport. Have we noticed say Nipa 14 you more divine a bang your touch with you and I receive more time and so. That's one intention. Nationalities now Mumbai. Liberia, Nigeria, Togo, Burkina ni. Senaya dear said the canon not ya. Nami share no senka Mr. Okudzeto be council say. Ye king Russia woman. Why Nigeria ni? Ye man onward transfer. In that case, in Ghana, Nigeria, America for the next would take it say. You a virgin echo. You ask echo. And you are Ghana fly our echo. In from airport, you don't go transit. You will be up on a Ghana, you know, woman, and a Ghana for woman. Yama woman exit entry. Now, crime Bennett do mobile. Nowadays, but drugs related crime. And I know what trouble American prison and American said on for ordinary Banukuma. Ghana authorities, this question say, Yamana 20 jail sentence. Name say, say, a immigration related issue, just. Say, the visa who and now when you paper and I know the deportation center and you're by any crime. And 20 mention, said you're reading, say, yes, a woman, you're no do a military and I a Goma. So, what can not add any now you're just only not something, now bother on drugs. You can't keep the person to humanitarian. Now you see a coaching what you treated the purpose. It is a lawyer be sorry. No Coco Ghana court say and conform it be a matchroom against your right. They are right. You cannot arrest me and hold me if mere purpose of a deportation on one immigration status. Now the map by third country and a second country say on Jimmy non-transfer and come country. That country no Gina would Jimmy Fanuko baby because when yes it's after of a refugee no acceptance in Ghana sign be. And they would hear him yeah. It's okay to say. And I don't think a journalist would say.
Miss Wahab, nature said no na kofa court on Samu Bemuse, say Nipanemu 11 lawyers at the Omeyi court because he had the 3 Pokwama 3 no. One is saying so no the country I will free money until ko US no. Na ye persecutino for say oka LBGT community no ho. Ena Nigerian ba so story odiko sani enyina ye nim so omudiko di adro no and then one Nigeria to Nigerian so dia wo kan say ono so na entokwa bi wo ho no mo ama police for bo na and he was warned say any day you obesi ho no omo bebu ne kuno.
Thank you.
Eti ono so ye de ne konti we nyina no ne ye tie se lawyers se omo de omayi court no yetimi de court se ne wo ken.
But omo allowed 100%. Now say mbi mo campaign informal cancer untimi informing. So what they know? What you must grant them one status. Intimate question is Yajomo airport and first day in die. They only look at 2 hotel and a hotel fee and a hotel and a journey and a man a car, grant transportation, accommodation, and feeding, and then also pocket money called the upkeep fee. So the sign your mind, dear. Now, me church says you will see can you be a cardia and you have document. You are inbound, inland, online Ghanaian, call them refugees. Or deportees inland or free north and now true Kumasi about we have been or Dabontin, Tiampankoma Wumu. But the Ajomo national status say you're a Ghana, you're an ECOWAS member, American for non-fly because Nuzokujeku and Ghana from paying for. Obiano did that version about Yajum because of the American non-stop flight because ECOWAS in England, Ghana and the US didn't flight in the look or non-stop. In what Trustee airport and what Trustee aviation system and what Trustee your migration authorities. Your mom can't ask them. And one is a humanitarian. You can't take some of us have been a translator with a mission. So we know what is called humanitarian. So what it means you will be asylum seeker, deported on basis of seeker asylum, our third country. And at third country and granting asylum. No deporting about second country. So what becomes of it means that you are granting the person status of asylum. You are granting automatically status of the asylum because you apply asylum or America. So we LGBT plus advocate and Yapanacheno. America for Anjantum because there is no basis, there is no confirmation. And they didn't go back to the country. Until any Pabakuna to flight to end transit. Because say Trump, the American government is ordinary for Europe and Nipan basic asylum. And a person punish you, so won't conquer Europe because it's a good destination into a local African country. What do you call African country, dear? Then I'm saying that it is incumbent by the UN Charter, the Refugee Charter, UNHCR, all the regulations, Nyamagana, San Bibian. You can't take the person out land or your restriction, asylum status, oh baby. No country, no, the neighbor, immigrant state. The immigrant state, America is an immigrant state. Canada is immigrant state. UK is immigrant state. Australia is immigrant state. Three of these immigrant states, which US is one of the father laws of immigrant states. No one will deporting a refugee while accepting asylum status. Why accepting asylum application? No, the neighbor as a third world or second country. Now, Gina, when Kimi said ni panel and country and say, when one swagino, was in Nigeria, Nigerian, and Tinuano, Bioneko. Uncle Dahi, Uncle Jahi, Uncle Didi. So when you time your man there, you might as well not have received, accepted them, give them back to the person or the country that brought them. And something that issue in war. Because the country, Martin himself, we read article from Maka Wamawo. Our team, even bringing them to the court. Or no call represent him as a human rights lawyer. And these are some of the things that some of us want to be involved. Because the judge is not hearing what is bringing them. How they were even transported into the country is also questionable. Yes, your father Christmas, that's okay. Ghana is noted for that. Treatment bed the Dima Liberia for Quadrum, and voluntary repatriation. Women voluntary repatriation. Women deported. Deported means either in their handcuff or forcibly deporting them against their wish and their will. It is a whole China. Nipane brand ya deneba, who shouldn't mean China say, what did not go to police cells? That is completely wrong. And the country should come clean. And surprisingly, said, okay, yes, a parliament. Yes, indeed. This issue, Honorable Okudzeto Black said, it was not for parliamentary administrative. What does that mean? Administrative meaning said it is the presidency where the decision was made possible, with him, the Minister of Foreign Affairs, at the middle with the president, and agreed. This is it. So if it is administrative there, then go and tell me. Come and tell me and tell you and tell Ghanaian listeners, say, Yaji womu, Sikase Nyadiboshomu. Is it against the Foreign Affairs budget? Is it against Ministry of Interior budget? Is it against NADMO? And now say Ghana Prison Service and now Ghana Fire Service, Ghana Service Fire Service over budget. What budget are we going to use to take care of them? And here now go more question. What's the man in fact what in Babu Ashobaka just want to know? Can you call up a lavish please? Let's go how died the amano and one watch cantonments. I said many about question. If they want to cantonments. Who was it down and so we deported? I had Robert, you have a pump and so met my airport. You know, I'm here because I'm in the airport. And what exactly is the country doing with the US deportees? Much as I agree, sir, America will not do transit deportation. They don't do it.
Mono. Yen to me for among Kotana baby fa conte say Kane send ye nim Liberia and ye see or ye say ye nekra ye that's what Liberia camp or maymuno. When in Chesa, what can be say gitmotui and ne yemfa ye nim who or beton ne so on my wade Ghana ha woo so or taking you ye wunti say would ya what will be say ya wouldn't to me metua sawra me or mainumu baby or betna near obedi san ye many you must cater for country I will beg you on
exactly Chese. I mean sure baby in the case of Gitmotu America fortified prisons of the whole entire United States. There were no American government in Ukraine. 1 4 man to prison on land. Although to Gitmo Guantanamo near only Cuba border, ensuring a prison war. Why did Obama break it down? Why did he close it down? Because that prisoners were classified highly risk. War front of America and Iraq and Afghanistan and other places. Any Kuwait fight in what is it? Helicopter. I want to fly over the machines, over the prison. A day, cost America almost $500,000 a day, dollars a day, taking care of Guantanamo prisoners. And Obama said the huge cost now are costume and the man Gulu and was started with Bloomberg. We're doing home country, but woman declare home country say free hand. Only the stateless ones, I hire don't buy Ghana once, you say country your president Okudzeto or swear oath of allegiance, or swear oath of secrecy, and also oath of office in Yamanema. Your oath of secrecy, is that what we took? Is that what we exercise? How come by the country has not been able to tell? That's why highly criminal. And America focus on intimidation now. The bio network in America for Jinaso. So we are Al-Qaeda, we Daesh, we ISIS, we Ansawa, we this kind of prisoners now. We know rebels, terrorists, And it's about the Kumha. And when we have the same network, and when we have our problem Libya, what would have happened? But thankfully, no one go by no, almost having a peace solid in the country in this uncle for one way. Yes, we know, or some people know say, we know, and today the crowd were done any. Now, we have better Kuma, Nigeria, only ECOWAS in the Western Kuma years, 20-25 years. Ghana does not give her citizenship just like that. It's one of the countries in Africa with very difficult of issuance of citizenship. Edema will be. They don't do that. And to give me for a woman day. And it's our cover will swap back. Also on pop. Nigeria. Where you wanted until Okusi asylum, Okosiki asylum. So Okosiki asylum, non America first one G to what they bar. One agents on the bar. You must grant them asylum. You can't deport them. You can't keep them also in your cells. It is against international law. It's against the UNHCR law and all the chapters signed so far. So what you mean Kochi will be our asylum seeker. We are deported in a second world country, a second receiving country. Oh, to the worst chapter will such a Sanya Manate. Now it's also did not go to tell. Wow, for Nanka court. Lawyer Janata, who are they? Where are they? What are we talking about? But at least home the 40, this is over. Ghana must be very careful with how we handle some of these things. Much as we have good rapport with America, we support say only no problem. But we must have a valid agreement say they are transfer passengers. Transfer in transit into the airport, they will be transited to their country. Inland those Ghanaians among them, you release them to the family. Then South is done everywhere. When you be from American prison, then I almost as a fan of American prison. One was done in New York prison, one at that Washington prison, one at that Philadelphia. prison. Now they never go to Sawama better. Do you think they are stupid? Because when you jump cop, we did it 4 times a day, we did it 5 times a day, a draw pen on them, you shouldn't pull out. And so how far you have your prisoners? And how far you have your prisoners? How far in James Fort, you share prisoners? And 2 continue the number 2 prison. What humanitarian are you granting? You can be a humanitarian country granting accepting deportees. No, China knows how to sell. What kind of international practices is that?
Nature say anhwe ya Mr. Wahab ye betumi anya problem wo sa papa ye we hu se ye se yakogi nipa ne ye behwe omo na se omo charge omo boye ne se omo de bedu ye omo de yakwa akogum omo ka so omo je ye na afi omo asade ye ko enti se eba international community no kra se international court kra no a ya anhwe ye besa akogi manso abeto ye ho so wo asem we hu.
I say anyone say be obi a watching whoever is already on the ground on floor no, you are not afraid to fall. One no say be ebi ho and the bushoni bi no say be I will make sure so then call. But the point is say there were UN rep Accra. Say Oliver Vomao and I say women lawyers here. They should rush to UN rep in Accra. I want a petition. No, so Shiraj, because Shiraj is still induced a Ghana court. Won't you go against what the government has done? Uncle UN rep. Non-co represent, uncle petition with UN rep. So these are refugees. These are people who have seek political asylum and etc. Nobody wants to know. From America. America deport from Ghana. Ghana has arrested them and keeping them in American jail. And it's a serious issue. We don't do that. And young consult, we are all here. We understand it. We've been translators for several years with some of the world missions. And you said they didn't hear Juma. Nigeria refugees by I'm cross over than the Roma Kotu. Yenny refugees on cross to Cote d'Ivoire 13,000. Arguably, we are trying to how many of them. Cote d'Ivoire Roma Kotu prison. Madam Pachawat is a Cote d'Ivoire, Biniri, a reform, over to prison.
Oh, and Rakra, a minority fue, ranking member, deputy, echo honomo, ya chese babia, ya do more chinakra, no se contractor be, chese apartments, I will see the man, the workers, and where you are more free 1 year, dear more honomo asha, a whole year, only saying soon and now sibini or but, dino mutim the video editor muneches a whole yard.
I go to war on the boy.
Was it?
And just in a good war for them, Chumo, or Manco Manco. Ghana, Burkina for cross by her, no Burkina problem about it. Yet you may room quite. It's the same thing. It is under the international status refugee law. Wouldn't mean she will be our journey, the afternoon, where the young so Mujane, America, Samenjo, you have to make America say, I cannot begrudge and I cannot speak against that by the practice of the US. Anything of a country, your friend is soft bargaining spot. Was soft bargaining with Ghana. All Jimmy Goka in UK, British for share Ebina, woman British also say your friends Rwanda. So no British deportees. How do they even respect it? British deportees, not only there also that's how the British did. They were going to pay and they were prepared to pay to the Rwandese government. So for Kagame and Katie a safe haven. British government they found one control airport say one chiwomu for Kagame chiwomu there be almost crew and was a makeshift apartment at the room. And it is anybody said on top of Nigeria for fear of Serbia imprisonment and Liberia for fear of imprisonment. And the occurrence of Rwanda no yabida eventually nipa or survival. That does not mean to almost sorry to because seek asylum no. Tabi nina Kroma Ghana has it will seek political asylum than any other country in the history of Africa as far as Europe is concerned. But yeah, political asylum status is very Wahab. You need a civil war. Roma will seek asylum during Rollins time. No, how many of them? Not two, not three, no more than 200 people in an area. But none for your grantee woman, Nigerians, your friend is the Germans. They took more than 60% of Ghanaian refugees across Europe. I'm over Johnny. I'm a woman in the palm of Ghana. Women I see them in them. Women are almost all the new sites in Ghana. Germany and Holland. France and Belgium, these four countries, Ghana and the developmental agenda in terms of housing, Chimie. Mumu South Ghana for it will be outside Germany that. One and every day and what they do, Papa. And sorry, it will be any. And woman America for do ba no sorry your friend economic refugees but nipa man in South Sudan be economic refugee only some few countries of the world and Tokwa Syria or now Canada was a Mefa Syrian refugees Americans to Mejibi German folk or be Lebanon and only the economic refugee arising out of a war Ghana will be our but you seek asylum and in Ghana for UK so I even include America be added to or the first year in Qatar wagging a passport once one nationalize it one formalize it in citizenship in the status normal it's how the name about the general okay papa okay now what place my gamer so identify to Nigeria I think wish somebody can get reach my to me say almost from Nigeria embassy but Liberia ni call Liberia embassy and also which mean so a Liberian there or rep or Liberia embassy and then I'm fan come Liberia embassy so also a charging there fan come charge embassy where Nigeria fan come Nigeria embassy you don't go and keep them in a cell you don't go and keep them in the military base na tell we be culture most man for woman yare are their limbs and their legs broken no let's do the right thing
Mr. Wahab anopay medda wase papa
abusua adwumapa on demand service for na ekase adwumapa on demand for say o pese wodi dwuma bia nkankangana fo am wabrochire a obehia nipa didi so ya tilers anasa building constructors fashion designers chese auto mechanic bia o pese wodi sa dwuma bia ma no obekọ ye app no so na wa download adwumapa on demand service ayesa so abekọ www.adwumapa on demand service eno so beko ko hu edwumadi edi nyina ne trimopo nyina ne se ye boawo ema okokofo obi ana wudi dwuma bi a nipa a okokofa no esansa wonnim na kira kwan bia anti no to bi kura nipa na gisika wie open here na hu no adwumapa on demand fo aba ama sa ha nyina afiri ho esansa obi bia ya de be ma so woni dwuma bia ma no ya ye background checks ehu se se nipa yi onim ne wo ye enye kwanche trefa ni bia wonim de wo ye ene ye fa no edna ma wo na nigisa ba ko omu ne se onipa bia de be ma wo a odi be di dwuma bia no sebe background no sem anase si ebu afaso pade a enya de besi na wanso san nim se sabe ko soja mumpo a ye wo military police ono so soja ni ochi soja ni eno me kiremu se eye adwumapa on demand for no ye sanso supervisors a abre nyina no omko rounds eko check se adwuma na nipa no de beda ye no sa pepepe ene ye no na se adwumapa on demand de omama adwuma no aye simple se bibini ena onte ase ampacho no wafa numbers no aye gusuo no no wafre